Welcome to the Goldburst Show, a new series of author interviews where we would interview the most promising authors. Hi, I'm Goldburst, your host and the author of Reversed Order Existence. In this 5th episode, we would introduce you to Durham, the author of 7 Broken Souls. Which real-life events inspired you to write 7 Broken Souls?
I think what inspired me to write this book there's multiple factors. One was the fact that I was abused by my parents at a very early age. I'm the youngest of 7 children, and we were all physically, emotionally, verbally abused. I ended up moving out of my house when I was 17 years old, and I started making something of myself. I put myself through high school, college, ended up becoming a vice president of a very large and well-known bank. And one of my clients and also the bank I worked for tried to ruin my integrity when I was trying to look out for the customer and my client. And I tried to compartmentalize all of these things for years, and I realized after visiting my therapist that I couldn't continue the way I was going and my life become unmanageable. So I had to first recognize I had a problem and then work on ways to solve it.
What trauma does a victim of abuse undergo in their everyday life? How do they deal with depression? What perception do people have about them?
I think some of the biggest trauma that I underwent in my normal life after I recognized the abuse, and it wasn't until I started going through therapy that I even recognized that I had been abused and the effects of that abuse. Codependency is one major issue. Whether it's in relationships, personal relationships, or whether it's in professional relationships, codependency is huge for me. Codependency is, trying to please somebody else when it goes against whatever your maybe core values are or core beliefs are. And in relationships with women, I never wanted to say no to them. I never wanted to share my feelings even about the relationship if I thought it was going to upset them. I wasn't, and I was basically omitting things, and not purposely lying, but omitting is a form of lying. So codependency is huge. And in my professional life, my bosses, my superiors, often I viewed them in the same manner. I would do anything they said, even again if it went against my core beliefs or core values, and I wouldn't say anything. I would just go along with it because I was in fear of losing my job always. If I went against the grain, I was always afraid of losing my job. And working for the company that I did, they could do that at any time they wanted to. They're known for abusing their employees. Now, different ways that we may deal with codependency or depression or the trauma is to drink or to do drugs. And I abused alcohol. I kept saying for years that I didn't know if I had a problem drinking. I didn't know if I was addicted to it. And I found out I wasn't addicted to alcohol, but going out once a week and getting inebriated was enough to keep all the feelings, compartmentalize all the bad stuff that had happened to me, to keep it buried down deep inside. That was enough. But once I stopped drinking and I kind of took a step back and started looking at my life, and things were just unlocked. And I was lucky I didn't turn to drugs. I 100% understand and can relate to individuals that have turned to drugs, and not recreational drugs like marijuana, but anything harder. I definitely understand. There's a hurt inside that you just want to go away. You just want it, that hurt filled. You want it to go away, and you want it to be numbed. And I didn't realize I was doing that with drinking, but I was. And now the perception of somebody if they're codependency or depression or even going through, like, let's say a recovery program, I think the perception of those individuals are that they are weak-minded, or somehow a baby, and I think, and also I think that some men, I would say, think that they're not a real man if they can't man up and own these feelings and just suck it up. And I would tell you that someone that can actually share their feelings, share their past, and they know more about themselves, they know who they are, they're the person that actually is a man, or a woman that can do that. They're a true woman. They can, but I think that's the biggest mischaracterization, is that somebody's weak-minded if they are going through depression, or that
Is a supportive family a thing that doesn't exist for everyone? How lucky would you consider people who have supportive parents?
a supportive family is something I really don't have. I'm the youngest of 7 children, but unfortunately, a lot of my brothers and sisters don't understand what I'm going through. They've not been through I've been through counseling with my therapist for years and years and years. I have gone through a 12-step program, and I go to a small men's group meeting, and I go to Hope Celebrate Recovery Lutheran Church, and they are what we call my forever family. I go there on Thursday nights. There's no judgments. People are always happy to see me. I'm always happy to see them. I'm always in a good mood. My family, though, is not supportive. They don't, like I said, they don't really understand, and I'm not blaming them. You don't know what you don't know. And I didn't realize how a 12-step program would help me out. I didn't realize the benefits that this was going to lead for me. So that was huge. And unfortunately, I've lost some relationships with my nieces and nephews, because they don't understand what's going on, and they only hear probably one side from their parents, and they don't want to get involved, and I understand that. But I would say I'm very much closer to a lot of the gentlemen that are in my forever family than I am my own family, and that's very sad, but that's my reality. I think anybody that has supportive parents or supportive network of individuals, hopefully they consider themselves lucky. They may not understand how lucky they are, or what an extreme asset that is, to have somebody else in their life that would be supportive. I'm grateful for all of my friends that have reached out, that have shared how proud they are of me, what I've done, because you don't get that from everybody. Not everybody knows to do that. So if you have that, I would definitely say don't squander any opportunity to tell somebody in your life how much you're thankful for their love and their support. And I'm still single, and I would tell you that I look for someone that has a supportive family or supportive parents.
How can we lessen the trauma of the person suffering from abuse? What kind of support system should we expect as a great necessity?
How do you lessen the trauma of somebody that's suffering from abuse? If I was speaking to any of my family or my friends, I would tell them to listen, learn, and go so far as to get involved in their life and understand it. What I mean by that is make sure you understand or ask qualifying questions, as long as the person is willing and open to talk about it. Get to know them and what they're going through, because I had to unlock all of these things. I had to first recognize I had a problem, and then that's unlocking it, and then I had to deal with those issues. I was in what I call fight or flight mode for 35 years, and I've spent the last 5 years in recovery. 35 years, I didn't deal with any of this. I didn't know to. Listen, learn about somebody else's issues, their hurts, habits, and hang-ups, and get involved. If they want to take you to church with them, if they want to take you to an event with them, odds are they feel better when you're around them. They feel better If you go with them, they're going to be less likely to be fearful, and maybe they want to show you a part of their world, and that's a way for them to show you, hey, this is who I am, and it's a way for you to kind of bond together through this, horrible incident. As far as support, I think when I started my journey in the Celebrate Recovery program that I'm a part of, we have what we call accountability partners. So before I maybe was going to act out, before I was going to do something that wasn't going to be good for me, I would reach out to an accountability partner. That can be anybody. In a small men's group, it's generally a male if you're a male, or a female if you're a female. But you reach out to those individuals if you're having a tough day, if anything's coming up. It's a way to kind of vent, and it gets us used to doing one thing that we're not used to doing. That's asking for help. I rarely asked for help growing up. I did everything myself. I was forced to. There wasn't anybody around to help me. So I had to do those things. And so asking for help from an accountability partner is huge. Also, getting a sponsor. So a sponsor is somebody that is kind of like a level above an accountability partner. A sponsor, you meet with them regularly, they check in on you regularly, and you go to them first and foremost because you feel comfortable with that person. And it's really important, once you get through all these steps, once you get an accountability partner, or you're a sponsee, it's really important for you to turn around and pull up somebody that's behind you, just coming up through the program, and show them the way. Show them that you can, and you need to show them that they have a resource in you. You can be that accountability partner for somebody. You can be a sponsor for somebody. And I can tell you from my firsthand knowledge, it is extremely beneficial when you have somebody that you've mentored and you see them leading small group, you see them up giving announcements, you see them grow in their capacity. And that's I think what Celebrate Recovery Program is all about.
Does time heal our emotional scars?
Time does not heal all wounds. I wish it did, but I can tell you, I spent 35 years, I'm 48 now, I spent 35 years of my life roughly in a fight or flight mode, just trying to protect myself. And the last 5 years have been in recovery. And I know my other brothers and sisters, they're hurting like I was and like I am, and most of them haven't dealt with it. It's unfortunate. I wish they would. But you don't know what you don't know. So I would tell you that, and there's ways to mask that also by drinking. If you go out drinking, for me it was just once a week. I was going out and getting inebriated. That was enough to kind of keep all those things deep inside.
How was your journey to becoming a published author? What struggles did you undergo?
It was, for the first 30 to 60 days, that's approximately how long it took me to write the book. It was very cathartic. It was helpful to get all this out. It was very, I'd say, tense. I was very anxious writing it, reliving all these experiences. I would write for maybe 2, 3, 4 hours at a time, and I didn't really notice until I was done writing that my t-shirt would just be drenched with sweat. I would be sweating so much, and I would just, I didn't realize that was happening to me. So I think that was one of the things I noticed. But after that, after the writing process, it was really just learning, or practicing rather, what I had learned. And what I mean by that is I am codependent, and I do things often to please others, or I do things at least so that I don't interrupt maybe the status quo, and again, maybe those are things that aren't healthy for me. So I had a publisher that I had stopped working with because I had set out a marketing plan, and I stated these are the things I wanted to accomplish, and they had their own timeline and they had their own initiatives, and then they didn't match up, and I didn't realize they weren't matching up until it was almost too late, and I had to pull back away from them. I said, this isn't going to work. I look at a publisher as somebody that's a partner with me. They're going to benefit off of my sweat and tears and blood, so I want them to be invested as I am. And so I said, this isn't comfortable for me, and I just stepped away, and I found a new publisher. And what was nice is, or what was beneficial through that process is I'm learning. I'm always learning something new, and I went back to, and you kind of start over, and I regrouped myself, and I started. One of my philosophies, I like to eat and shop locally, and I started reaching out to local authors, and I asked them, what have they done? What would they recommend? And everybody was so gracious. They'll give you any information that you want. They'll help you in any way. They'll show you where you might be missing something, and they'll tell you if they are not on the right track, and just I think that's just the feeling that I get in the author kind of community, that a lot of individuals are willing to help others out. There's some struggles in there with the process itself, but writing the book was very cathartic. But the process is like anything, there's growing pains and there's things you have to learn, and that's what I did.
Order your copy of 7 Broken Souls from the link in the description below. If you are new to this channel, subscribe now, like and share this video. Keep on watching the Blaze Goldburst Show.